Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Confetti and Cards with Lisa Mensing. Today I'm participating in the hashtag Whimsy Stamps Patriotic Hop and Giveaway. I hope you'll join us for inspiration and a chance to win a very generous $100 gift card to the Whimsy Stamps online shop. This hop is really short, so it shouldn't take too long to hop along. Leave a comment and subscribe at each stop for a chance to win that $100 gift card. So during this video, I'll be sharing tips to help you achieve the best possible results when heat embossing for this clean and simple card. Now I'll be giving you more details on the hop as we move further into the video. And if you're new to Confetti and Cards with Lisa Mensing and you like what you see, how about hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out when I share new content here on the channel. So for now, let's dive into this. So during the Whimsy Stamps hops, we like to take one die set and make that the star of the hop. And today we're going to be showcasing the military die set from Whimsy. We'll be using other products as well, but the star of the show is that military die set. I'll be using the Military Heroes stamp set along with other products during the video, but we'll talk about those as we progress through and I'm using them. So I have 110-pound white cardstock in my MISTI. I'm stamping the stripes for my flag from the Military Heroes stamp set from Whimsy. I recommend 110-pound cardstock. It helps to reduce on the warping when you're heat setting your embossing powder. We're going to lay down a generous amount of anti-static powder. It's your friend when you're heat embossing. There's no getting around it. You need to use anti-static powder when you're heat embossing. So I go heavy with it because it's just powder and you can wipe it off once you're done with all your heat setting. So for stamping, I'm going to be using Distress Oxides. These inks are great for heat embossing. I'm using Lumberjack Plaid and Chip Sapphire. So this is a great tip for a beginner. If you don't have a lot of colored embossing powders, don't worry about it. Use your colored inks and then just emboss clear over them. I recommend it if you're like me and you have a small space, you don't have room for a bunch of stuff. So this is a great way to be able to stamp and heat emboss in colors and not have to have a lot of supplies on hand all the time, right? Another thing that I like to recommend is stamp your image 2 to 3 times. That way you know you're getting the full coverage of your stamped image. You have enough ink laid down there. It's going to stay wet long enough for you to get that powder added to the image and you'll have everything covered. I recommend using an ultra fine or a detail embossing powder because it's so fine, you're going to get better results with it. So I just pour it over that stamped image, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to come in with a stiff bristled brush to do any cleanup. And even though we're using clear embossing powder, don't skip this step because we still have more stamping to do and you don't want to end up with little white specks in your heat embossing. Now, once you have that done, we're going to come in with a preheated heat gun. You need to make sure this gun is hot, and as soon as that heat hits that powder, you want to see that powder melting. If it's not melting, take the gun away and let it heat up some more. You're going to chase the melting powder with the heat. You're not going to shake that gun back and forth. It serves no purpose. Keep the gun steady. Chase the powder as it's melting, and once it's melted, take the gun away. This is going to do so many things for your heat embossing. The biggest thing it's going to do is it's going to help cut back on the warping of your paper because your gun was hot, so you didn't have to keep it on the paper just for a few seconds. Another thing I want to encourage you to do is to use a silicone mat and lay your project down flat. And leave it laying flat as you're heat embossing because that does help to cut back on the warping of the paper. Here I'm using a Versa marker. I absolutely love this pen. I encourage everybody to have one on hand because as you can see here, my first round of embossing, you're never going to get a perfectly embossed image. So I recommend that you go in 2-3 times to get that perfectly smooth embossed image. And that pen saved me a lot of headache, right? I didn't have to go back to the MISTI with this. I didn't have to worry about lining my stamp up or making sure that everything was in place so it was lined up. I just took my pen, ran over those stripes quickly, and then added the embossing powder to it again, and we're going to heat set it again. We're going to do this 2 to 3 times. You're going to notice every time I'm cleaning off my cardstock, and I'm cleaning in areas where I know I'm going to stamp again, because you don't want to end up going back and stamping a little later in the process, and then you realize, oh no, there's clear embossing powder there and it's leaving white specks in my stamped areas. Again, this is the third round for me, and I'm telling you, the third time's a charm. It gets the job done. You're going to notice when I finish with this, you're going to have such a smooth embossed finish. It's going to be so beautiful. It's worth the extra steps to me for the end result. It's worth it. So let's go ahead and add our embossing powder to this one more time, and then bring that preheated heat gun back in and chase that melting powder. And by being steady with it like that, you're actually melting the powder quicker than if you were shaking that gun back and forth. And I go into a little bit more detail on my video on the Whimsy channel about why you shouldn't shake the gun back and forth. Now, you can see here the end result is a beautiful, smooth finish. It's so pretty. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the blue star area of my flag off screen. I'm going to do all the heat setting off screen, but I am going to show you the end result here real quick, and you can see how we have that beautiful, smooth embossed image. And that Versa marker, I cannot stress enough how much I love that pen. There we have our embossed flag. It's so beautiful. I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to run this through the die cut machine with a Wonky stitch die from Whimsy Stamps. Now, normally I don't gravitate towards stitch dies, but because this is a flag and it has that very distressed look about it, I thought this is one of those times where the stitch dies would look great with this. Die, I'm adding removable tape so that it holds my die in place. We'll come back in and stamp our sentiment across the top of the flag and go ahead and heat emboss that. I'll do all of that off screen as well, because you've seen enough embossing as it is. And then we're going to move right into wrapping this video up. So this is just a piece of black cardstock from my scrap bin, and it's got an Easter egg cut in the middle of it, but I can still use it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add glue to the back of my white cardstock, center it up on that black cardstock, and then take it to the paper trimmer and trim it down. Now I'm using my favorite Bearly Art glue. You can now pick this up in the Whimsy Stamps online shop and their boutique. If you're looking for some glue, this is an amazing glue. I really enjoy it. Also, I want to start talking to you a little bit about the details of this hop. So you want to hop along, leave a comment, and subscribe to each channel in the hop. It's a short hop like I mentioned earlier. Once you do that, you'll be entered in for a chance to win that $100 gift certificate sponsored by Whimsy Stamps. And you have until Monday to leave a comment at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After that, the comments are going to close. We'll draw a winner and announce that winner Wednesday on the Whimsy Stamps channel. Plus, I will list it here in the description box of my video as well. So be sure you come back and you check to see who the winner is. All those details are down in the description box below. So be sure you check those out to get all the information you need. So moving on with this, we're going to trim this black cardstock down. I only want about 1/16, 1/8 of an inch frame around this piece of paper here. Once I have that trimmed, I'm going to set it to the side and let it continue to dry. I'm going to take my silhouette of soldiers, and we're going to cut 4 of those out using my Tim Holtz Sidekick. Now I'm going to do 2 out of black cardstock and 2 out of gray cardstock. We're going to use those gray images to create a shadow. Also, it kind of gives the illusion that you have more than 6 soldiers in line. It gives you that more of a true formation of soldiers. So we're going to go ahead and get those placed on the front of the card. Now I'm just going to glue these together with that Bearly Art glue. And then I'll use little round foam adhesives to the back of them to put them on the front of my card. Now, once I have them placed exactly where I want them, I'm going to stamp one more sentiment to go right in the center of these soldiers, and what we're going to do is stamp all gave some and some gave all onto a quick strip. This is a die cut set from Whimsy Stamps. It's full of different shapes of little quick sentiment strips that you can create. I love that. It's got stitching on it to match the stitching on my Wonky Stitch die cut flag, so it's going to pull all of that together. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink because I always use that for stamping sentiments. I went ahead and I cut 3 of the quick strips out, and I'm going to stack them on top of each other so I don't have to use foam to create more dimension. I can just use these and glue them straight to my card. So that's going to wrap us up for this card. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, I have my affiliate links listed if you want to check out any of the products that I use and you shop through those links. I do earn a small commission, and let me tell you, I'm forever grateful for it. So I appreciate you so much for joining us for another Whimsy Stamps Hop. We always enjoy bringing you inspiration through Whimsy Stamps Hops. Until next time, please take care.